Hello, welcome back to the Mind Body Reset Beginner Series, and today we're talking about squats. So we'll start with a basic squat that's in many practices, your chair pose. So you'll start in your mountain pose, the feet under the hips, feeling sturdy, stable on both feet, feeling strong throughout the body, the core. And from here, instead of thinking about bending your knees, think about just sitting your hips back, and that will automatically bend your knees. So sitting the hips down just like you were going to sit in a chair, and stay making sure that you can see your toes. You never want your knees to come over the toes, keeping the hips sinking back. And then keep the tailbone pushing down. So instead of sitting out like this with the arch in the low back, tuck it down, tuck it under, and pull the navel into the spine, more strength there. If you feel okay here, arms rise up with the biceps alongside the ears. As you keep the tailbone reaching down, keep the core strong. So your feet can be hips width distance. If it feels better, you can bring them to touch, knees to touch, so the thighs squeeze in toward each other. If you want a little more stability, they can be wider. You can also place a block or something between your thighs and squeeze that block so you can get that same sensation. The arms can be wherever they're comfortable. They can be on your hips, they could be at heart center, they could be reaching up, they could be reaching back, whatever feels good to you. One more inhale, and exhale, release to your forward fold. Straighten the legs, hinge at the hips, come on down. So we'll practice that chair pose coming into it now from your forward fold. So staying in your forward fold, releasing here, and then start to sit your hips back and inhale as you sweep your arms forward and up, chair pose. So you can do that a few times if you like that. Straighten out the legs, come down, forward fold, bend the knees, sweep the arms forward, lift the heart, chair pose. One more time, straighten the legs, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, sit the hips back, sweep the arms up, chair pose. Awesome. Exhale, release, forward fold. And inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands to heart center. So now we'll talk about Yogi Squat or MALASANA squat. For this, if you're facing the front of your mat, you can step your feet just your mat's width. Toes are pointing out, heels are pointing slightly in. There's many different ways to come into this pose, but I'm just going to show you the way I come into it and give you some other options. So if you know that this pose is difficult for you, I highly recommend practicing with a block or a pillow. And once you get your feet in the right position, just put the block right between your heels and slightly back so it'll be under your seat. So you can come into this by bringing the hands to heart center with the elbows pointing out to the sides. So the elbows aren't down, they're pointing out, palms pushing into each other strong. And then hinge at your hips at the same time as you bend your knees. And start to bring each elbow to the insides of the knee. You can do it at the same time. You can fold and extend. You can do one at a time. You're just starting to get your torso to be in between your thighs. So from here, as you inhale, sink your hips down as you lift the heart up. Malasana squat. So if you put the block here, you have a nice support there. If not, your hips are hovering and you're using the strength of your legs and your hips to hold you into place, strength of your core as well. So feeling each point of the palms pushing into each other, feeling how that therefore pushes your elbows into the thighs, opening up the hips a little bit more. Stay firm in both feet. Your heels might be lifted here. You can always slide a blanket or something underneath the feet. And focus on keeping your spine long. So imagine a string from your tailbone all the way through the spine, back of your neck and crown of the head. And it's pulling your tailbone down as it's lifting the crown of your head up. The heart lifts toward the thumbs, and the thumbs push back toward the heart. Holding this one more breath. Inhale. And then we can come out of this the same way we came into it. So feel that string reaching through your tailbone. Now imagine that string is pulling your hips toward the ceiling. Release the hands, straighten the legs, and heel toe the feet back to under the hips. Fold, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, release. Inhale, root to rise, reaching up. And exhale, hands come to heart center. So that was your yogi squat. Now we'll come into a goddess squat. So turn your hips to face the long side of your mat. Bring your feet out a bit wider than hips width distance. So a bit wider from what we just did in Malasana. And bring your toes to point to either corner of your mat, and your heels are facing toward each other. Now from here, bring your hands to heart center. Hold them here. And then from here, feel the same strength from the crown of your head through the spine and tailbone, pulling your sit bones down. Letting your sit bones reach toward the ground. The knees, take a peek. See if they're really bent over your ankles. And if they are, walk your feet out a little bit more so that the knees are right over the ankles. Imagine there's more strings pulling your knees back behind you, opening up the hips a little bit more. Feel firm in both feet. You can use your palms to find a little bit more stability if that works for you. You can also inhale the arms up and then exhale, bend the elbows to shoulder height, palms facing in toward each other. That might feel good. You could bring the palms to face away from each other. That might feel good. You can also bring the hands to the hips or the hands to the knees. From here, you can take a really nice shoulder stretch. Exhale, dip your right shoulder down, look over the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, dip your left shoulder down, look over the right. Inhale, center. You can do that a few more times if you want to. And when you're ready, reach into the ground with both feet, slowly straighten out the legs. Start to heel toe your feet in together. Inhale, rise the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, release. Inhale, root to rise, reach up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Great.
Thanks for watching the Mind Body Reset Beginner Series. Make sure to like and subscribe and leave any questions or comments below. Keep watching to learn more.